What's up, everybody? It's Loud and Louder with Joey G. What's going on out there on this pre-evening at 20 of 6? 20 of 6, Wednesday night. Got class tomorrow. You know the deal, Joey G. Early class. Got to be there at 7:30, and I'm going, trust me. So I go to bed tonight by midnight. Quarter after at the latest, but, you know, get my 6 hours in. But I'm going to get right into this. Alberto, Delrio versus the WWE. Yo. You know, there's so much shit, like, that's been going on, like, with CM Punk. I mean, I thought that was, you know, that's more because, you know, Phil, his real name, I just call him Phil Brooks. He's just, you know, he just says what he wants. But Alberto Del Rio, let me tell you something. There's a lot that I always thought he was all right, cool. I've seen him off character, out of character, and he seemed like a pretty cool guy. So, you know, last night I was listening to some other CM Punk things, you know, basically from that podcast I was telling you about. And I was listening to it over, you know, some more things, and maybe couple more things I'll tell you in there if I can remember a lot. It was a lot. Then I listened to Alberto Del Rio's, and his was great. I mean, Alberto Del Rio the WWE they promised him a lot. I mean, if you can remember when he debuted, his vignettes started in the summer, the midsummer, end of the summer of 2010. That's when the Nexus was like big, and they could have did a lot with the Nexus. That's a whole other story. I'll go into that some other day. You know, it's a war story I call it, or a story. But look what they did with the Shield, and that was 3 of them. Look what they did with Nexus. I mean, the only one in Nexus that was really good was Daniel Bryan. He was only in it for a minute. You know what I mean? Like the first time they came out, and then because he did something wrong, and they fired him, and he came back at that SummerSlam. And Bad News Barrett, Wade Barrett, he was like the only real one. David Otunto can talk, and he works behind stage. He's never going to probably be a big time wrestler. He helps out at NXT, and he helps out at Raw and SmackDown. You know what I mean? He helps out John Laurinaitis like he did on TV, but he really does backstage. He does with Vince and Hunter. And Joey Mercury and Jamie Noble, they do that too. But I don't even know what happened to the rest of the Nexus. But that's beyond the point. That was 2010, and that's when Del Rio's vignette started, you know, coming. I just thought, you know, this dude's going to be, you know, I didn't think he was going to be that big. Then his vignettes got big, and I'm reading on the internet, yeah, they got big plans for Alberto Del Rio. Then I read up on him. You know what I mean? How big he was in Mexico. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, they brought Sin Cara in. No, they brought Sin Cara in a year later. I don't know what do you call it. But like they were saying how Ray was going to feud with him right away. You know, Ray's a big superstar. In my mind, Ray's one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time. I mean, I even read on the internet last night somebody had him ranked 10th. And that's right where I got him ranked. 10th of all time. And I'm talking of all time. WWF, what do you call it? WWF, the whole WWE of all time. He's the 10th greatest superstar of all time. And I'm telling you. And he's a 2-time world champion and a 2-time WWE champion. So he's a 4-time world champion. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, he's held the world title twice. And I think, the WWE title he held twice. So, I mean, once he held. I don't know. 3 times. Yeah, he held the WWE title, and then he lost to Cena. That was the night Punk came back. But anyway, it's about Del Rio. And if you can remember, I mean, when he won that Royal Rumble, the 40-man Royal Rumble, now I'm hearing it's only going to be 30 men in January. That's another story, too. But when he won that 40-man Royal Rumble in Boston in January 2011, I was like, I could not believe it. Because I remember it came down. I remember Orton was in the ring. I remember, I got a good memory at wrestling. It was Orton, Barrett, and Cena was Cena the WWE champion yet? It was 2011. I'm trying to think who the WWE champion was. 2010. The Miz. Yeah, The Miz was the WWE champion. That's right. Yeah. But Randy Orton was in the Royal Rumble, too. He fought The Miz for the title that night at the Royal Rumble and didn't win, and he entered the Royal Rumble. He was like 28. And it was Orton, Barrett, Del Rio, Santino was on the floor, and it might have been John Cena. Yeah, John Cena. John Cena. It was Orton, Barrett, John Cena, and Del Rio. They were the final 4, and I was like, there's no way Del Rio's going to win it. I was like, Barrett ain't going to win it. I was like, Cena. I really thought Cena was going to win it. I was like, Cena's going to win it. I was like, Cena's going to win it. I was like, he's going to fight The Miz at WrestleMania. That's what I really thought. And I was like, Cena's going to win it. I was like, that's what's going to happen. And then Cena got eliminated. And then right after that, Orton got eliminated. And then it was like Barrett and Del Rio. And I totally forgot about Santino. And I'm like, dude, it's going to be Barrett or Del Rio. But that's when they had 2 titles. So I kind of knew that they're probably going to go after the world title. That Cena was going to get The Miz that WrestleMania. But this is about Alberto Del Rio. So they had to win the Royal Rumble. They had Santino come up, teased you, made it look like maybe Santino's got a chance, which we all know that wasn't happening. Del Rio won. I was so, like, pissed off because I was like, dude, this dude just came in. But he could kill it on the mic as a heel. As a face, but as a heel, he's a great heel. And he's a good wrestler. I mean, a great wrestler. And he won it, and he ended up, they would have had that Edge Del Rio match, that WrestleMania 27. The main event was Cena versus Miz, and also had Triple H and The Undertaker, but the main event was Cena versus Miz. But before that, they were going to have Edge versus Del Rio for the world title, because Del Rio picked the world title to face the world champion at WrestleMania. But Ed said, I'm not. That's right before he retired, if you can remember, in the beginning of 2011. And he was like, I'm not up to par. He's like, and you're going to have great matches. I mean, you're having The Undertaker and Triple H. There was other matches. WrestleMania, Randy Orton and CM Punk. You know what I mean? It was a lot of matches. And he just said, put me somewhere else. Rey Mysterio and Cody Rhodes, which I think, that was, if you look back, that really helped Cody Rhodes' career wrestling Ray at that WrestleMania. But it just went on to show you that, where Del Rio's career was going. And he didn't win the title. And then they teased it, and he had that ladder match where Edge retired and him and Christian had the vacants, and Christian won it, and then Randy Orton got drafted. This was the last draft they had until this year coming up. Supposedly rumored to have a draft at the WrestleMania this year. Del Rio got drafted to Raw. He won Money in the Bank. And in 2011, in Phoenix, what do you call it? Was it in Phoenix that year? I don't know where it was. In Chicago, yeah. That was the night the summer of Punk. That was the night the place when Punk's contract was on the line. He signed it that night. Del Rio won Money in the Bank. Came out that SummerSlam. Remember Kevin Nash came out of the crowd. Jackknife powerbomb. Punk. Del Rio came out. He became champion. I remember people were cheering because it was in L.A. So it was a lot of Hispanic Mexicans in the crowd. And I remember he got a big pop. He got a big pop coming out. And when he pinned Punk, it wasn't a huge pop, but he got a nice pop. I mean, a lot of people were cheering. I remember watching that pay-per-view. And I remember they had WWE Classics on demand. So I remember I had that SummerSlam on demand. I would watch that, like when he won the belt. And they did. They popped. The crowd in the Staples Center popped. SummerSlam 2011. Then Del Rio went on and he won the title again. The WWE title, I remember. And he went back and forth with Cena. And then he won the world title. I remember he beat The Big Show on SmackDown. And it's when he became a face. And he was actually pretty cool. The Big Show was a heel. The Big Show ended up becoming the world champion. Randy Orton was world champion. Then, I don't know what happened. Orton lost the belt to Mark Henry. And then Sheamus beat Mark Henry. Or no. Mark Henry. I forget what happened. No. Big Show beat Mark Henry. That's right. I don't know what happened. The Big Show won the belt. You know what I mean? And he had the title. Del Rio was just floundering. You know what I mean? He was just floundering around. You know what I mean? He won the WWE title 2 times. So he was floundering around, still in main event matches, but he was floundering. But he was a good talent. You know what I mean? Another talent, the WWE dropped the fucking ball. And he beat this, I think it was 2013. And he became a face, I remember. I remember he had that Santa Claus match with Cena. And you could tell he was turning to like a face. He stopped coming out in the car, and he ran over Santa Claus. It was Mick Foley. You all remember that? It was Christmas of 2012. And then he fought Big Show, like right in the beginning of January 2012 on SmackDown in a last man standing match. And Del Rio became a face, and he put all this. He put the whole like SmackDown attire, like the ring set, the broadcast booth. Everything, the chairs out on top of the big, and won the belt. I was like, holy shit. And the crowd was going, see, and I was like, yeah. And Del Rio was going, hey, Big Show. my name is Alberto Delrio. And it was like he was world champion, and then he went to WrestleMania, fought Jack Swagger. You know, they tried to get Swagger another push. Went, you know, I mean, so I like Swagger. You know, weed the people. That's what if you're at a WWE event, and I've been in them. There are people that say weed the people, but most of the fans, they say weed the people, because we know Jack Swagger's been busted. I know he's been busted once for weed, and there's rumors that he loves to smoke weed. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, seriously. It's not like he's smoking crack. You know? I mean, seriously. He smokes pot. Big deal. I mean, cigarettes are 20 million times worse. You know? But anyway, and then Del Rio had the title. He won at that WrestleMania. Then Dolph Ziggler cashed in a night after WrestleMania, and Ziggler was a heel. Del Rio was the face, and then just at that, it was at the Izod Center right next to MedLife at the WrestleMania 29. In an instant, it just turned Ziggler to a face, and Del Rio went back to being a heel, and then it was just like what is it? Like, he was in the Money in the Bank match this year, like for the WWE World Title. Like, I was thinking, I liked Del Rio, but why was he even in it? Like, who did he be? He was the first. I remember Stephanie announcing, like, when Daniel Bryan had to vacate the title because Kane put him out of commission. He got hurt, and she was like smiling. The first name she said was Alberto Del Rio, and I was like, why is he in it? Why is he in that match? Why? You know? Why? And why was Roman Reigns? Somebody leave me the superstar of the year. What did he do? If somebody can name something he did, but I know, I'm a genius. He hasn't done shit. He hasn't done nothing. What's he done to deserve superstar of the year? It should have said the guy who's going to take John Cena's place, or the guy we have in mind to take John Cena's place. Because let's face it, I'm a fucking idiot. Ray Ryback actually admitting to Punk that he's a fucking idiot. That's not the guy, at least now. He's big. He goes, feed me more. Finish him. Stupid. He's cool. I like him. He's no Bill Goldberg. If I was there, and I was never at an event where he was there, and if they did, I was sitting all the way up top, and I really wasn't. No, I don't think I was ever at an event where they were cheering Goldberg at Ryback. So, you know, like, he's nothing. He can wrestle, at least. I mean, he might hurt people, but at least he tries. Goldberg just would go out there and have a 7-minute match with you. At least Ryback could last 13 minutes with you. I mean, he wrestled CM Punk in Hell in a Cell 2 times, and I think they were both over 20-minute matches. You know what I mean? So, say what you want about Ryback, but at least he's trying. But what he said to Punk was so good. Admit it to me, man. Admit it to me, Rye. Either you did it on purpose, or admit to me you're a fucking idiot. I'm a fucking idiot. I'll just be sitting down, like, daydreaming, having a cigarette and thinking about that, and just start laughing. Like, my grandma's like, what are you laughing about? And I was just like, just something that, you know, I'm wrestling. But anyway, you know, Alberto Del Rio, I'm with you. Just thinking, this year they lost Del Rio, Punk, you know what I mean? It's just, Lesnar's leaving. I'm hearing the night after WrestleMania. I mean, I don't know what's going on. I mean, seriously, like, what is really, you know, going on? Kurt Angle also, mishap, bad. You know, I had false information. Kurt Angle has re-signed with TNA, and so that's real rap. And the Hardys, for now, you know, I don't know how long the deal was, but the Hardys and Kurt Angle are remaining in TNA now that they got the deal.Maybe that's why. I don't know. I know the Hardys contract ain't for long, but it is, you know, coming up. But Kurt Angle did resign, I think. I don't know how long it is. I can't say. I know it was over a year, but he did resign with TNA. I guess he figures, what the hell. He goes to WWE. He's going to, you know, it's time for the youth. The youth's coming up, as we can see. So, you know what I mean? Why go back, Kurt? You're 45 years old. Stay in TNA. Maybe win the belt one more time. And he probably will go back to WWE and his career there, and maybe have one more run with the belt, or maybe just have one last match at WrestleMania next year, at WrestleMania 32 in Dallas. But this is Joey G. I want to talk a lot of football. Eagles got to win this Sunday. They got to win out. A lot of playoff things going on. A lot of must-wins for a lot of teams like San Francisco. They got to beat Seattle this week. Tomorrow night, Arizona. What's tomorrow night? It's Arizona. And hold on. Let me see real quick. Arizona tomorrow night. Thursday night game is Arizona at St. Louis. And I want to put my money up against St. Louis. This is Joey G. And I'm out. Peace.